What's going on, YouTube? A little show of the 30-gallon tank. Haven't done a video in a while. Hadn't been feeling well. So, thought I'd do a little update on the tanks. Show you what I've got going on. So, from the last time you guys seen this tank, I've done a big trim on it. You can see over here in this background, all that wisteria has been cut down. It's still there. It's just, it's probably only about to that line. The Rotella indica over here, I haven't pruned it a lot, but it's starting to spread, really grow. Cut a few stems off that was starting to hit the surface. Amazon sword there. I just had to take a few leaves off of it, clean it up. Serogene rippins right there on the ground. Stuff's starting to grow. It took a little while for it to start, but as the CO2's been on here, CO2 I think's been on here, I want to say about 3 weeks to a month, and it's starting to come in. I'm also starting to dose with some leaf zone. It's a fertilizer for planted tanks. Then right here, that is the Riccia moss, and I had to prune it back. It's actually grew, it probably went from that size to about the size of a baseball, so I pruned it back down so it wasn't getting too thick. If that stuff gets too thick, it actually lets go of whatever you've got it tied to. It doesn't put out roots, it wants to float. So, had to prune that back. The Glauso right here, I don't get it. It doesn't really look like it's growing. The same thing really in my 225. I think it might have taken hold in one spot. I don't know. It looks like it's putting off a runner, but in here, it hasn't tried to do anything. I don't even notice any growth on it, but I've kind of got 3 pieces of it right there, and then right there. Oh, and I guess for that one right there, I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised it's even still got leaves, but it's in there. Excuse me. Then right here in the front, I've got that creeping Charlie, and I originally had it over here in this corner, and I went on and cut it back and brought it right in the front of that driftwood. Well, what I cut obviously shot up new shoots, and this is all starting to grow, so now I've got a bigger area of that. The dwarf sedge over here, it's doing good, but it just, I'm not impressed with it. I really want to pull it out of the tank. I've been looking at different options for ground cover, so I'll probably try to get that out. I know it's going to just keep popping back up, but I think if I keep, pulling it or cutting it off or pulling it out when I see it sprout back up, I can get it out of the tank. But I'm just not really happy with it. The Tiger Lotus Lily, it's still there. It's, if I can point to it, it's about right there at the tip of my finger. It's just got some really small leaves on it, so I don't know if it kind of went into dormancy or what it's doing, but yeah, it's not that big right now, if there at all. I mean, like I said, it's just 2 very small leaves. The Crypt, they're doing well, looking very nice in my opinion. Got the Nubus right there with the Trident Fern, and both of them are growing well. I had a little bit of hair algae on the Trident Fern that I had to cut off. And then that right there is the fire moss, and I cut it back off. It had some that was just trying to expand away from the driftwood and was creating just a big ball kind of floating away from the driftwood. So I cut it all off and left this. This is what's kind of attached to the driftwood now and starting to grow upward. So we've got that, and it actually looks pretty cool as it's growing. It gets some red tips on the end, but for the most part it's always kind of reaching up. No matter if it's growing on a flat surface on the side, it's always reaching up, kind of like flames do. So that's basically it. The only other thing I have is I still got a little bit of Rickia moss floating, just in case this down here dies off, or for whatever reason, you know, somebody wants some of my friends or whatever. But yeah, that's basically the 30 gallon in a nutshell. All the fish are doing well, and like I said, the CO2's been on here running and everything looks good. So the only other thing I might do to this tank, like I said, is pull and get rid of that door sedge, put in a different ground cover over there. At some point I'm probably going to give up on the Glauso, and hopefully that syringa, or however you pronounce it, ripping over here, that ground cover takes off. I'd like to have that spread a little bit more, but you know, I might need to replace my red Glolight. But besides that, everything's doing well. So just a little update on there. Sorry it got a little long. We'll talk to y'all later.